If you smell what Changi is barbecuing. Hey guys, this is Changi77, coach of the Brisbane Heat Giants, here with week 5 of our CBA match. Don't really worry about that intro. That was just for Raf. But we're going against Azar this week and his Deccan Wild Chargers. And his team, which should be appearing on the right, consists of Escadrille, Taunty, Tyranitar, Alexam, Amoonguss, Slowking, Aromatisse, Blaziken, Mantine, Rotom, and Mega Garchomp. So, as you can see, he's packing that deadly sand offense with T-Tar and Escadrille. Definitely a threat, always, despite his very poor matchup. Which I can freely admit. His switch-ins to Thundy don't really exist. Arcanine is also a huge threat. Mega Gyarados also a huge threat. Yeah, it's just this Sneasel as well. There's just things that just threaten his team, which he doesn't have a clear switch-in for. He has to predict perfectly. So yeah, the matchup for, I mean, it does make building, it might make building a little easier because you can see what's good against him and sort of be aggressive in his building and sort of build towards what I should bring, what is most threatening to him. But going over my team, shout outs to Blue, Perfect, Blue, Opposite, and Bronzen for helping me with mocks. We got Dragon Dance Zygarde, Outrage, Earthquake, and Thousand Arrows. Earthquake because I didn't need any other stab. I could have packed Crunch for Slowking, but Outrage actually does more, so that's why I went with Earthquake over anything else. Then we got Sneasel with Ice Shard, Pursuit, Low Kick, and Icicle Crash. Then we got a Max HP, Max for Death, Mega Gyarados. This spread was so that I can set up on Amoonguss, which is his best switch in to Mega Gyarados. Yeah, it's, if I get a sub up, then he has a 3 in 16 chance of breaking my sub, so less than a quarter, which is, you know, it's pretty good. Because Mega Gyarados just so fat. Got sub DD, Crunch, and Waterfall. Then we got an Agility Arcanine with Wild Charge, Close Combat, and Flare Blitz. Fighting Z Thundy with Focus Blast, U-Turn, Volt Switch, and HP Ice. And then a Air Balloon Jirachi with Stealth Rock, Splash Cannon, Icy Wind, and Shadow Ball. So looking at leads, my lead was going to be Thundy because I wanted to threaten his Tyranitar. Keeping him from setting up rocks. Also just to gain momentum with U-Turn. Chose U-Turn over Volt Switch because, you know, ground types. So yes, that is my lead, as he decides to lead with Tornadus, which is awesome. So he switches into Tyranitar, and I just U-turn because I figured he couldn't really do much to me. I thought, you know, maybe he might knock off, but that wouldn't do too much. He might U-turn, that wouldn't do much either. You know, Thundy is a pretty nice check to taunt, just purely because of its typing. So I clicked U-turn there, as he actually decides to hard switch, probably fearing the scarf, possibly. Just probably wanting to scout for that. As I just go into my Arcanine because he knows that he knows that I probably have the fighting move, and he's probably got the Truffle Berry, but I calced I could live a if it was a bulky T-Tar, I could live a Stone Edge. So I just go for close combat to burn that Truffle Berry, as he actually goes for Thunder Wave and misses. So Gen 7 mechanics coming into play. That miss is potentially big, but we'll get into that later. So here I know he's going to switch out. It's either going to be into Garchomp or Torn, because you know they can take the close combat fairly nicely. And I thought about going for Wild Charge, predicting his Torn, but I felt Garchomp was also a possibility, and close combat was just the safest play. So Garchomp comes in, fair enough. I get some nice chip on it. If I get one more hit, once I get rid of this Garchomp, break the sash on Alakazam, I'm pretty free to just clean up with agility on Arcanine. So getting this nice chip on Garchomp is good, as now I'm just gonna hard into my Gyarados. It's not Megad, and I figured he would go for Earthquake or be special and go for Earth Power. Special Garchomp makes sense to me because if I was Willow, then it would ignore it. So I felt Gyarados was the best play here because I am fully Spadef. As I get off the nice Intimidate, and he actually goes for Earth Power, which is nice for me because I'm still flying. So I just want to, because I'm so bulky, I know his hardest hitting move is Draco, and I don't even take 50% from that, which is absolutely disgusting. So I'm free to set up a Dragon Dance, see what he wants to do, and he actually goes for Roar, which is a nice bring on his part, and nice to see. Yeah, it's just it's good prep on his part, and just to not allow me to just set up all over him. But he unfortunately drags me out into Thundy, and this is a free HP Ice. Take him out. Crit didn't matter. I was always going to take him out, and with Garchomp gone, that's the door is slightly ajar for my agility Arcanine, which would have been crippled somewhat if he had hit the T-Wave. But here, I figured he might go into. I figured he would bait the Z move, so I debated about going for U-turn or T-Bolt. But I just wanted to get rid of this T-Tar too badly, and he switches out as I go for my Z move, which is good play on his part, and it's, I would say that's a misplay, but I was just so scared of Dragon Dance on Tyranitar that I didn't want it to give it a chance to set up. So that was my thought process behind it. As here, the switch into Excadrill is pretty obvious, and it was a 50-50. Either he switches, I go for T-Bolt, he switches into Excadrill and takes nothing, or he doesn't switch, I kill this Thunderous, or I go for U-turn, get some nice momentum with the U-turn as he switches, or I take a hit from this Taunt, U-turn, I do nothing, and then I'm a little bit, I'd probably go into Arcanine or something, but so I decide to T-Bolt as he goes for the flying Supersonic Strike, just 60 or 54%, and I'm able to take him out with the T-Bolt, which is really nice. And right now, Thundy has done his job. Thundy has been really good, taking out two things, and he's not shown an item on Excadrill, so I'm thinking it's possibly Choice Scarf Sand Force. So this means that I get a free Dragon Dance up with Zygarde, and so he just hards into Zam, knowing that I had set up, and I'm gonna break his sash here, and I'm actually able to live any hit he wants to go for, except for counter, which is an amazing bit of prep on his part, on Azar's part, and yeah, takes out Zygarde, which is a bit disappointing, but that's the way it goes. So I'm just going to go into Gyarados because I know I can take anything this Zam's going to do. Focus Blast doesn't do 50, which is once again really stupid. Sneasel, I thought about going Sneasel, but I felt like that gave a free switch into Blaziken, and Blaziken is a threat. Depending on its set, like it can go special or physical, and I didn't want to give it a free switch into Blaziken, because I probably would have gone for Ice Shard, and even if I had killed, then Blaziken is in. So I felt that Gyarados was overall better play, because I can take nothing from this Zam. I thought about going for Dragon Dance, but I didn't want to get Encored into that. He has shown counter. I figured he might bring either Dazzling Gleam or Focus Blast, then Psychic, or Psychic, and then I wasn't sure about his last move, maybe T-Wave, maybe Encore. So I didn't want to risk it, so I just click Waterfall. I click Waterfall, as he just goes for Dazzling Gleam, and you see that it does 30%. So he goes into T-Tar, and he just sets up the sand for his Excadrill, which is awesome, and I'm able to take it out with the Waterfall, and from this range the Earthquake should kill if he was Sand Force, but I found out after the game that he was actually supposed to be Life Orbed, and if it was Life Orb, that also would have killed it. And this is really unfortunate, because now I'm able to get off waterfall damage, and that kills. Bear in mind that this Gyarados is not Yeah, that was a good game as despite the terrible matchup, still brought the tech, and it was still really close game.